Welcome back to the Daily Buzz. Rupert Murdoch's The Sun is the first British newspaper to publish those nude photos of Prince Harry in Las Vegas. This in the face of royal family lawyers telling them so it was an invasion of privacy. Take a look at this. The Sun's front page Friday was the photo of Harry covering himself after having lost a match of strip billiards, along with a clever headline, "Air it is." So was that an invasion of privacy, as the palace would have us believe? Isn't Harry's antics newsworthy, given his life is supported by Britain's taxpayers? Or should a prince with a reputation as the ultimate playboy be protected by the media? Here's The Sun's managing editor, David Dinsmore, explaining the newspaper's decision to print the photo that's been seen around the world.
We've thought long and hard about this. The Sun is a responsible paper and it works closely with the royal family, and we take heed of their wishes. We're also big fans of Prince Harry. He does a huge amount of work for this country and for the military and the image of both those institutions. We are not against him letting his hair down once in a while. For us, this is about the freedom of the press. This is about the ludicrous situation where a picture can be seen by hundreds of millions of people around the world on the internet, but can't be seen in the nation's favourite paper read by 8 million people every day. This is about our readers getting involved in the discussion with the man who is third in line to the throne. It's as simple as that.
Let's bring in Rob Shooter, a columnist at the Huffington Post and the host of Naughty But Nice on HDNet. Now, Rob, my good friend, is the photo of a prince in the nud newsworthy?
Oh, absolutely. First of all, I love the fact that he says he thought long and hard about this. A very odd choice of words indeed. However, this is definitely newsworthy. There's some very odd sort of gentleman's agreement in Britain where the tabloids are pretty fierce, but when it comes to the royal family, they really, really lay low. They sort of have hands off. This picture's been seen around the world. Anyone in Britain with a computer has seen the pictures. So this whole thing about privacy being invaded, I think is just a little bit silly in this new age of technology that we all live in, including the Brits.
Now, St James Palace, as we know, had previously asked the British media to refrain from publishing the images, but said the decision was ultimately the paper's to make. Two questions here, Rob. Do you believe The Sun when they say their decision to print was press freedom, or was it to sell newspapers?
To sell newspapers. It's absolutely to sell newspapers. On the cover of the newspaper, on the cover of The Sun, I think they put a little bug that actually called it Special Collector's Edition.
They did, a souvenir edition.
So they know that they're sitting on gold. There's one thing here about looking at things online. I've also worked in print media at OK Magazine, and what really sells newspapers and magazines are now these great photographs, and people like to have hard copies, forgive the word, they like to have hard copies of these photographs that they can hand around to their friends and laugh and smile. It has a different way of consuming it than you do online, so I think this paper's going to sell crazy today.
The Sun's action sparked rebuke from some who felt the paper ignored the pleas for privacy. Indeed, the former Deputy Prime Minister John Prescott said the Sun's actions prove that, as of this morning, self-regulation is now dead. I got to say, Rob, I was thinking about this. I do think in a lot of ways, a man who had his hands pinned behind his back until now, Rupert Murdoch, is making an emphatic statement. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think you're probably right here. I mean, it is a big statement. It's a definitely big change to protocol here. Just a couple of months ago, if you remember, after that glorious wedding that we all tuned in to watch, Prince William and his bride, Kate Middleton, were on honeymoon. They were walking down the beach together, and there was a photograph taken of them, him shirtless, her in a beautiful bikini. It was in every magazine around the world. It was not in the British newspapers because they were respecting the royals' privacy. However, this is an instance where I think it's definitely news. Everybody's talking about it. They'd be silly not to run it.
Now, the one question a lot of people have been asking today is, could we be seeing more of Harry? A prominent British public relations guru said Friday he'd been approached by two women who claimed to have more material on the Playboy prince, raising the possibility that the world may soon be seeing more of the British royal. Is video inevitable?
If you've got a cell phone, it probably has a camera on it. I think that we all now have these devices in our hands. I have one right here. It's with me all the time. And you're capable of shooting video. So if you're going to take a photograph, it is just as easy to take the video. I think it could exist. However, this is what makes me a little skeptical. Normally, when people are trying to sell a photo or release an image, they normally go with their strongest hand. So if they did have video, I think we might have seen it already, because that would have been the real upper hand here. So the fact we haven't seen any more pictures, the fact we haven't seen any video, makes me believe maybe it's not actually there.
Interesting. Time will tell. Now, I know you subscribe to this old adage, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Well, clearly not the case, at least according to 4 young women who spilled new details of Harry's wild ways in Sin City to Good Morning America.
So it was kind of like, what's going on? Like, we're at the coolest pool party ever.
He asked us if he could wear one of our bachelorette shirts, and we didn't hesitate, and he put it on and jumped on his friend's shoulders and waved his hands in the air, and
he just was like a normal guy. It was kind of amazing that here is the Prince of England, you know, wearing our tank tops.
We had told him where we were staying and our room number, and he repeated our room number, and we knew he wouldn't come back, but he knew where we were staying at least.
And to pick up on something you said, I got to say, Rob, I think that it's clear everyone now has paparazzi power. Do you think that celebrities, let alone royals, should now be wary of their behaviour, no matter if they're inside a private hotel room?
I think that because we are now all paparazzi or documentaries, however you want to look at this, because we now all have the capacity to capture images and videos, we should always be aware that other people have that. And if you're doing something that you don't want documented, you should do it behind closed doors. The stakes are normally a little bit higher for public figures, but even regular folks, if you're doing something that you don't want your husband or your wife to find out about, don't do it in a public place.
Now, one celebrity is telling us all to calm down. Richard Branson took to Twitter to tell the normally buttoned-up Brits like yourself, Rob, to just chill out. He wrote, "Shock horror, single man naked in own hotel room with women, leave Harry alone." You can see that tweet now on your screen. As evidenced by your accent there, Rob, you are a Brit. I think he might have been taking aim at you.
Let me tell you what he really is doing there. His son is a real close friend of Harry's. For this Vegas trip, all the guys had a long weekend away full of lots of booze, lots of fancy dress costumes. His son, if you go to Twitter, he might have removed them, but there's pictures of his son showing photographs of many, many men, one of which could be Harry, we don't see faces, passed out on a tropical beach. So if anybody should listen to Richard Branson and respect Harry's privacy, may I suggest he starts at home with his son.
Entertaining as always, Rob Shooter. I'll let you go. I know it's Friday night on the East Coast. Don't do anything I wouldn't do.
For drinks, go for drinks. No cameras though, no cameras.
All right, thanks, Rob Shooter. All right, for the latest on the X-rated Harry scandal, head on over to the website, celebuzz.com, or you too can join the lively discussion on Twitter using the hashtag #TheDailyBuzz. Before we head to the break, I couldn't help but show you some of these photos. Have a look at this. It's Kim Kardashian. Or is it? Channeling her inner Diana Ross, Kim K posted these snaps to her CELEBUZZ blog from a recent photo shoot. Even I had to take a double take at those pictures. All right, when we come back, is it Splitsville again for Katy Perry? The answer next.